Greg Schmidt with you back here for the Bad Influence 2020 build series, and I just want to show you what we have going on. We've made a lot of progress. A lot of it was off camera because with the coronavirus we've had a lot of extra time going on, and so we were just plugging away on this, and I forgot to grab a camera. It's easy as that. So as you can see, the body is off. Body's off the car right now. We are getting ready to paint the car. And when I say paint it, we're going to paint the chassis. The chassis needs to be painted and get back to the same color as the rest of the chassis on there. Gull Lake Sandblasting here in Brainerd, Minnesota. They did our powder coating and everything before. They're actually still, there you are. Give a shout out to them. If you guys need anything, they do a great job. But they did the powder coating last year, and since only like a third of the car needs to be redone, it's not worth it to strip everything down. So they got a hold of the people that make the powder. They've got, which is a Silvadillo, that's the color, Silvadillo. They have a paint that matches that perfect because it's from the same company. So we've got the paint to be able to paint this. We're going to scuff everything up. We're going to take everything off of here. As you can see over here, there's our front end. You saw that in a previous video where we had that mounted. That's all done. We got the hood on there. So you got all the Dezeuses on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6 across the front or 4 across the front. Depends on how you count it, and then another 5 over there. So that's all there. We're gonna get all this sanded and ready to go. All of the panel bond that we put on there before, that's going to get, sanded off. Behind me, we'll kind of step back over here, kick it real quick. That is our front end, or the body. Body is hanging from the hoist to keep anything off of it so it doesn't, try to collapse and crush itself. Up top we have the windshield, the 2 doors, so everything is kind of put over here temporarily while we're working on this. Let's take a look over here. So in the back of the car, this is the brackets for our fire suppression system. And we run all the lines up on top, so it will sit actually on top of the frame up there. They'll sit up on top of everything. We run 1 down on the driver, and then we run 1 down each A-bar there, and then spraying on the engine. So it'll actually come down from here. We'll drill a small hole, and it'll sit roughly here, spraying on the engine. The suppression system is kind of used a little bit more for if there is a fire or a wreck or something, keeping it safe. You'll have 2 spraying on the engine. Obviously, that's usually where fire comes from. So they're trying to either put it out or stop it from spreading on there. And then 1 on the driver. It gives extra time for them to get out and be safe. So that's what we have going on here. We'll show you how the fire suppression system goes together and on there, and show you some more stuff about this as we're moving along. We're back, and right now we are going to put in our fire suppression system. We use a Fire Bottle brand fire suppression system here, and a few things that we use and have used for this we're going to go over and then show you exactly how we put this in. This is a 10-pound fire suppression bottle from Fire Bottle. This is the same bottle we had in the car that flipped last year. We use, it's a 1/4-inch line. This is you can get this right from Summit, anything like that. It's an easy to bend line with your fingers, thumbs like that on there, but it handles high pressure. This is a brake line. It's really good stuff that we use there. And then we will clamp all of it in place with cushion clamps, or the proper name is an Adele clamp. So it all gets put in like that on there. We're going to go ahead and mount the bottle right here in the back. We'll show you that, and then go forward and show you where everything else is going to go. We're at the back of the car here. As you saw before, the car's all off. Yesterday we took and spent the time, we painted the chassis, so you can see this is all nice new paint on here, where these were all new bars on there. All that's done. The dash up front where we had it, the new steel on there, all painted. Our Dezeus pieces you saw in previous videos, all that's painted and everything is cleaned up. We've got the seat back in. The new seat belts from Impact are in. And at the back of the car, we are putting in the fire suppression bottle. Now, Fire Bottle wants you to mount these where it is going to run parallel with the car like this. They don't want it at an angle because it does have a dip tube that comes down in here to pull everything out. So it's going to come down and then it sits. Actually, yeah, it is straight down like that on there. Mm-hmm. Similar to a nitrous bottle, where a nitrous bottle that has a dip tube there, they want it down like that. So Al's tightening up the clamps on here.
Notice that we've got The gauge sticking straight up so you can see that.
Yep. So the window of the car is going to be roughly right here. So now we can look through and see the gauge, make sure everything is good on there. The line will come here. It has a single feed line that's going to come out and will go forward. And then this is our cable, as you can see right there, that comes up front right there. So fire bottle tag on it, so that way pull that, and that is what will deploy everything if there is a need for a fire suppression system being used. So that's where we mount these. You will see on some of the Pro mods, and I do believe to have to race NHRA Pro mod, you have to have two. You have to have a dual bottle on there, where since we are only going to be certified to up to 6 seconds, we're not required to have that on there. So we're gonna just run that and go forward from there. So let's go ahead and get some lines ran. As you saw, what we got done here is the line is run up from the front here. This will have another clamp right here, as you can see. It will share a clamp coming back for the parachute handle release and the cables that come back there. So that will hold that in place. We are running everything below, as you can see. It's all going to be below the bars here. So this will actually have a small 90 that comes out of here and will come up and follow this bar across and then down the bars and then out and in. Same over here, we have another one that's going to be right here, if you can see my finger like that, that's going to then go across. It'll actually stay on the side of it so we don't hit it with a helmet or anything and crush it by accident, but it'll come across and then down there. We do that so if the car goes upside down like it happened to last year, we don't have anything to come down and crush it, and now the fire suppression system doesn't work on there. So we keep everything below the bars on there in case there is that accident that you know is always a possibility. We try to minimize those risks. So what we're going to do is go ahead and do our 2 Ys off of there, and then we'll put our nozzles down and underneath. Thanks for following along on our little time lapse of how everything kind of goes together, how we run all of that. We wanted to give you guys just some live action of how all of this kind of works, and you know, you probably saw me fail at drilling some holes a couple of times on there. Apparently I'm not good with a drill. I use a drill press. So We have everything on here, as you can see, as I was talking about. We have, this is our line coming up and over, right down there. I'm trying to block some light. And then coming down, and now we have both of them out here. Now, as you saw, the chassis painted. While we were working, Ethan put together the front end pieces, and we can step in here. We will have one nozzle. It'll be set back here, but it's going to be clamped in and spraying towards the engine bay, the compartment this way. We will have another one over here doing the same, like that. So that way, if there is a fire or a rollover or anything like that, all the fuel and methanol and everything is all up in here where I'm sitting. So it'll be all up here like that. And we're going to be spraying 2 on there, 1 on the driver to be able to give them time to get out. So the suppression system isn't always there to put the fire out. It's there to, keep the fire at bay so the driver has time to get out and be safe. Cars are replaceable, people are not. So if the car burns down, it burns down. But as long as that driver can get out and still be safe on there, they can still go home and see their family the next day. So we're going to go ahead and get the last nozzles on here and show you what it's all like finished. I have to thank Al and Ethan. Yeah, you saw them working the entire time too. It wasn't just me doing this. These guys helped out a tremendous amount to get this done. Al's the one who always pushes for all the safety gear on there, which is kind of where I learned it from. So he kept saying, hey, while the body's off, we got to get this done. We got to get this done. So we stayed late tonight and got that done. Right there you can see those are our nozzles. They're going to be held in. We put them behind here so it has a little bit of protection so people aren't going to hit it all the time or like that. So we're going to be good there. The other over on this side, as you can see, and those are going to, we still have a little bit of angling we can do on there. Like this, the passenger side will come down just a little. It's angled up a little bit too much, as I can see stepping back. But that's where the fire suppression is going to sit. So as you can see there's our fire tab, the bottle. It's going to come up, splits wise, comes down and out. So
we will not arm the bottle until we get ready to go to the track.
Correct, yeah. The bottle doesn't get armed, which there is a pin back here. We can show that real quick. So there is the pin underneath. You can see the chain on there. That gets pulled out when the cable gets put in there on that. And how this works is there's a spring in here, so when that pin or the cable is pulled, it comes down and it breaks the disc that's in here, and then all of the pressure and fluids, everything like that will come out. Now we'll disconnect this one more time and we'll test for leaks in all of those, because these all use a ferrule and compression fitting. So we'll test for that on there, and we'll just put air to it and make sure that's blowing out and we're not feeling it around any of the other pieces on there. So just as another safety precaution on there. But there we are. Next we'll get the, since we have the body off, tomorrow morning we'll take and put the parachute cables in and the handle back in. And then tomorrow we're going to put the body back on. So we've got our AFCO shocks hanging on there. That's our Rhodes anti-roll bar, and this is a Don Ness titanium housing rear end that came out of a 2001 Firebird Pro Stock car, and we were able to get that with Mark Williams setup and carbon brakes and everything like that at a very good price. So that's the rear end that we use there. It is not a floater. We do suspect that in the future we will have to get rid of this and go to a floater. So if you're looking at building a car in about 2 or 3 years, that one will be available. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, everything like that. We're only a couple away from our 100 subscriber goal, and then we're going to be doing a giveaway there. We're going to give away a hat, and I think we might have some t-shirts in by then, so maybe we'll throw in a t-shirt at the same time. Who knows? So definitely do that, follow along, and we're going to keep going on this. Stay safe during this corona stuff here, and we're still pushing like everything's happening on time. You should too.